Welcome back to another episode of the Carbon Cardboard Podcast covering the Formula One card hobby. I'm your host, Brian, Q3 Cards, joined as always with my good friend, Scott from the P1Castle.
What's going on? We got the forward-facing flat brim today in true Max Verstappen fashion.
Hey, I got a Red Bull. Oops, wrong.
We're Team Red Bull right now.
Team
apparently.
Red Bull right now.
All right, cool. Just lost.
Yep.
14 of our 21 listeners. So
yeah, we'll see about that. So, all right. A little bit of a probably shorter episode this time out, Scott.
Yeah, bite size. I mean, let's be honest, Brian. We can't bury the lead. We're really just doing a podcast to celebrate your birthday. You know, I mean, finally drinking age. I think it's it's something to celebrate here. So, yeah, congratulations on the big 2-1, Brian.
Double drinking age +1. So what is that? The Franco
Colapinto? Yeah,
driver number match?
It sounds like trying to get to like if you take this number, you divide it by 2, add 4, it's basically a driver number.
That's
101 of eBay 101.
That's the logic. So shout out to the Legends chat who also was gosh, I think who was it first? I think Chris just an incident let the cat out of the bag, and it was really cool. I mean, I don't like to make a huge deal of my birthday. It's just another year. But Scott, I did take the day off from my air quotes day job, and
From
actually
your
I actually spent the morning prepping cards. My wife's like, "Are you sure you want to do that?" I'm like, I've got like 50 cards I got to get out, and
this is my passion.
This is what I want to be doing, so why not do that on my birthday? So dropped off a couple boxes at FedEx, and here we go.
That's dedication, guys.
It is, but also mostly I don't want to just have. I mean, I've got over here. I've got stacks of cards. I got to send you some. I got to send a bunch out tomorrow. Just had some show up from PSA.
So rephrase. It's OCD and dedication, guys. That's what it is. I feel that.
Hyper focus and ADHD.
Exactly.
That's the superpower that makes it happen at P1Castle Grading.
That's right. It's similar. Like I have sometimes where I get a package out because like it's in, we sort it, we ship it, and someone's like, "Oh, I had another break with you. You could have just combined them." I'm like, "Nope, in, out. It's got to happen."
There's a system. You can't just
cogs. Got to keep turning.
Yeah, I don't know how you and the Queen of the Castle keep it all in order, because
she keeps it in order. Let me tell you, I guarantee if we took a poll of listeners who broke with me prior to this year, because that's really this year is when the Queen kind of took over shipping, sorting, and everything full time. If you took a poll of people who broke with me before and still break with me after, guarantee shipping is much quicker. Now that she's in control of it. I remember sometimes I'd be posting a break, I'm like filling it, I'm like, oh my god, I look behind me, I'm like, I've got like 2 other breaks, I gotta sort, I gotta ship, what am I doing? So
a little behind the magic of P1Castle here.
That's right.
So a little bit of a different episode. I teased it, Scott, a couple episodes ago, but we have a action-packed racing weekend. We are going to eventually talk about the Canadian Grand Prix on Thursday/Friday for everybody downloading and watching on YouTube. But also a very special event that a lot of race enthusiasts really look forward to is the 24-hour of Le Mans. And
that's right.
Legendary. It's been in a bunch of movies, and most notably Ford versus Ferrari.
Oh, I thought you were going to say most notably Gran Turismo.
And Gran Turismo. Actually, that's one of my son's favorite.
Racer turned racing star.
And a podium. Spoiler alert. That's actually one of my son's favorite movies.
It's a good movie.
I still prefer Rush, I think.
Well, yeah. I mean, okay, come on. Yeah, I think Gran Turismo was a solid movie. I think it was funny because if you know the whole story, right, it's, Gran Turismo is like a sim racing thing. They did these teams and trialed out all these folks that were really good online and eventually like churned out someone who went on to race and Le Mans got a podium, right? But they dramatize it so much, right? It's like, oh my God, it's his one chance to like get in to the finalists to be in there. And he's like, he shows up 2 seconds before the race starts and like sits down. He's like, oh my God, like that's definitely not exactly what happened, but makes for a good movie.
So, several tangents aside there. So, what are we going to do? We are going to go over the drivers that are currently entered into Le Mans that have Formula One tops cards. Well, maybe not tops or Futera. So, good catch there, my friend. So, we're going to go through because, like we talked about a couple episodes ago, maybe, just maybe, you got a couple of these CADs that are maybe in one of your boxes. Maybe they're stuck in top loaders. Maybe they're in a binder.
Yeah.
One of these drivers or two, they do really well. The Ferrari hypercar has been really good. So Antonio Giovinazzi might actually be in the news again soon. So you might want to get some of those cards out.
That's true. And I mean, Brian, I'm sure you're going to bring the list up here soon, but I think, one of the main reasons we want to do this, we've done this in the past, but yeah, Giovinazzi won it, right? And
2 years ago. Yep.
And his card market saw a significant bump from it. All of a sudden, everyone wanted Giovinazzi cards. So we thought, yeah, why don't we tell you, hey, here's who's in it right now. So if you've got a bunch of bulk or you've got some, 2020 purples and golds and stuff of some of these drivers, even 2021, 22, 23, looking at you, Bullock Bossy. There's a lot of different stuff out there. And a lot of these drivers you're going to have tossed in your bulk bin or something, right? So you might as well get them out. And then if they have a decent result, send them to Rated Rips or post them on eBay, like get them up quickly. So,
yeah. So we'll go over that list, like you said, shortly. Got some very, very spicy news to talk about. A little bit of a tease. We don't have a lot of details at this point. And then finally, we're going to show some of the biggest cards that we've graded at P1Castle Grading recently. I was going to do a top 5, but I decided to do a top 7.
There's just too many to choose from.
There was actually too many to choose from.
Brian, it's your birthday. We'll let you do the 7. Okay. I think it's very fitting that on your birthday, we're doing the kind of the big grading recap. I like that. It's nice.
All right, here we go. 8 minutes in, we are going to cover our list. It's going to be, there's no dramatic drum roll or anything. Everything's going to be on the screen here. So if you hit pause on YouTube, you'll be able to see this list. If anybody wants it, I can just shoot you the image afterwards. If
for the low price of $4.99, Brian will send you a deal.
So it's like we said, 24-hour Le Mans and 18 drivers that I captured here that I was pretty certain that we've got cards of at one point or another. Not really in any particular order, other than I think the first couple here on the list are for the hypercar category, which personally, Scott, last year, I think Le Mans was actually in a non-Formula One week. And I was like, I got to get my racing fix in. And as we talked about last year, I'm like, I dove headfirst in. I was like, wow, this is just phenomenal. And to see what I've, viewed in movies before and like, as it's happening, I was just glued to the TV. I was trying to find the broadcast and stuff. I think it was like on Max or, and then I found like the free feed online on YouTube. It was phenomenal. But like you said, this is a good opportunity to talk about some of these drivers that, maybe some of these guys are going to be back on the grid at some point or another. But Scott, let's just go over some of the more notable names we'll cover in a little bit more depth, but some of them we'll kind of glance over. But namely on the list, driving for BMW, K-Mag.
Ooh, Caitlin's going to be watching. The Formula Queen's going to be watching. K-Mag. Love it. I'm excited to see him racing again.
Lots of cards. 2020 through 2024. You're not going to struggle to find K-Mag cards.
No.
Driving the Alpine hypercar, Mr. Mick Schumacher. Again, Scott, not going to struggle to find cards.
Yeah, he's an interesting one. He's in a lot of years. Obviously, 2020, he's there. If any of these guys have 2020, that's going to be kind of where you want to be. Although Schumacher, 21, does have the rookie card, which is cool. And then he's in some other sets as well. So yeah, Schumacher's got a nice variety there.
Most recently, reserve driver autographs
That's
for
right.
Mercedes
In 24.
in 24. Very interesting one here. Friend of the podcast,
Friend of the pod.
friend of the P1Castle, world champion, 2009, right?
That's right. With
Jenson
Braun
Button.
GP. Jenson Button, yeah. So he's the only one on this list that we've done a live box break. Technically, K Mag and I opened a pack together. We did open a pack. But Jenson Button, yeah, we did a full break. Everything took us on hot laps. That was insane. Yeah, I mean, that was last year during the Austin Grand Prix weekend. So I'm really rooting for him. Of course, he doesn't have any tops cards. Yeah, who knows? Maybe he'll be a legend. You never know. He is a legend in our book, so I think he should be a legend. But he does have few tarot cards, so we actually had him sign quite a few of those at our box break. So yeah, I'll be rooting for Jenson Button. It was funny because back then he wasn't with Cadillac yet, but he was talking to us and he told us about it. He's like, "Yeah, don't say anything because it's not out yet." But so he even knew as of last October, he knew that he was going to be racing Le Mans this year with Cadillac. So that's pretty cool.
We've already talked about Giovinazzi again. 2020, 2021, 2022. Yes. No. No, not 22.
No, because that's Joe. Yeah.
Guan Yu Joe.
So 2020 and 2021.
Joe Guan Yu, sorry. It's late here. 11 o'clock Eastern time. So obviously lots of cards. Most recently, reserve driver autographs. Again, probably your best bet, and actually in a Ferrari kit. So it does actually work.
That's actually really nice. Oh man, a red Giovinazzi auto in a Ferrari kit.
Scuderia Ferrari.
That would go hard.
Next, Robert Kubica. And the kind of the alternate Ferrari car, the AF Corsi 83 car. They did really well last year, but I think they had a late issue. I think the year prior, they may have actually been on the podium.
Yeah. I think I remember seeing the course on there. Robert Kubica, I mean, gosh, if for any kind of long F1 fans, he's the story of kind of what could have been right before his rally car accident. He was amazing. He was literally one of the best drivers in Formula One. So yeah, did get to come back for a brief stint with Williams. But yeah, no tops cards, but does have the Futera. So Kubica will be fun to watch.
Stoffel Van Dorn. Scott, I want to say he might only have an Aston Martin reserve driver auto.
Yep, just the reserve. He does have a couple non-autos in Paddock Pass this year. But it's pretty much just that. Yep, and it's going to be Aston Martin.
Jack Aiken. You're looking at 2020 Topps Chrome for that one with Formula 2 cards. I also think, Scott, I think he has a Topps Now card for when he filled in with Williams when George went to Mercedes in that 2020. Was it the Sakir Grand Prix?
Yeah, indeed it was. Yeah, so that was when Lewis had COVID. So Russell moved up to Mercedes, and then Jack Aiken filled in. Didn't finish the race, unfortunately, but yeah, did have a Topps Now. I was actually going to mention that. So yeah, good call out there.
Felipe Drugovich with Cadillac, the car number 311.
Yep, he's got 2020.
So I guess the here, I mean, we're within a couple days. It does seem like Lance Stroll is going to race this weekend, correct?
Yeah, which is, I mean, oh man, it's so annoying. I feel like this is the second time now that, like, especially Drugovich fans have really gotten their hopes up, like, oh, it's gonna happen. And both times it's been the wrist, right? When you initially heard it, it was like, oh, there's no way he's gonna be ready in time. Drugovich is gonna be in the car. Nope. And now this time it's like, oh, he's gotta sit out of a race. Oh, surely he's gonna rest it for Canada. Nope. So yeah, I don't know. It does look like he's gonna go forward. We'll see. It is his home race, so is what it is.
So Drugovich has got quite a number of cards out there again. 2020. Frederick Vesti, Mercedes reserve driver in the past. 2022 was his first appearance cards. 2023, I think he had a Futera
That's
card.
right. The Futuro, yeah, he does. He's got is that he's got an auto
He does
Futuro
have an
and
auto,
the
yep.
base, right? Yeah, because I think it in 23 the checklists are the same for base and autos, and then 24 is when they were different, right? There were
Yep.
different ones this year. Okay, cool. Yeah.
So again, our old friend Nick DeVries in a very good car with
That's right.
Toyota, usually in the mix for the race win and podium. One of the 3 drivers for Toyota. Again, going to have 2023 rookie cards for the most part.
We pulled the Superfractor from the national set of Mr. Nick DeVries.
Pretty sure we graded that one. I can't remember.
I think so, because we pulled it for Helen, so it would have made sense.
Get Bent Viscal. That's a name from the past, Scott.
Oh, Ben Viscal. Yeah, so that's got to be 21.
21
First
was, I think.
appearance and only appearance, right?
Yeah, I don't think he was in 22.
Oh, Mr. Bent Viscal. He's got to listen. Solid chin. Tell you what. On those
Pietro
portrait cards.
Fittipaldi.
Yeah. Pietro's got the reserve autos 2024. We pulled the red sapphire. That could be big money.
Ooh. We'll see about that. Kem Boloboski. See, I could be a breaker, Scott. I can say some of these names. I could say some of these. I butcher most, but God, Bolas. Now I just
he's like, I can say it. It's glass. Right?
Yeah, 2022 there. Man, one of the drivers that everyone loves to collect there's very few out there, but man, Teo Porsche fans, there's a few of them.
Let me hear you say Teo.
There
it is.
Clement Novalak. We all love pulling Novalak cards.
Novalak, the Novalak mojo.
Luca Giotto, 2020.
You know, I remember Giotto because so he's got 2020 stuff. And back when they did the first season of like, you know, the dream, you know, chasing the dream, or whatever it's called, kind of like the mini docu series they did on Formula 2, was the first season they did. Giotto was like top 3, you know, in Formula 2. The only issue is that he's been doing it for a while at that point. So of course, you know, didn't make it to Formula 1, but I think he has had a fairly solid career since. So yeah, Giotto will be interesting. I got my eye on the next guy though.
Louis Delatraz.
He has had a career. Look at Louis Delatraz' career in like WC, IMSA, just like endurance racing in general. Delatraz has really done well. So I mean, I think as far as, you know, non-Formula 1 careers, Delatraz has had one of the best. He's been one of the most decorated. I remember he was in Autosports, like they do a thing like top 40 drivers of the year every year from all specs. He was like in the top 30 in their series. So yeah, Delatraz is the real deal, and he's done really well here before. So yeah, I would definitely be watching him, and he's got 2020 cards.
And wrapping up the list, Sean Galale.
Oh, yeah.
Did he have a track tag?
He's got a track tag. He's Sultan Ayam, baby.
I don't know. I definitely gonna be tuning in this weekend. I probably won't watch it over Formula 1 coverage, but it's really cool. And I think what ends up happening is, you know, East Coast time here, watching Sunday morning, you watch the last couple, you know, not that you're gonna sit there and watch hours of it, but it's really cool.
24 hours straight, Brian.
Just get the toothpicks ready.
You can't blink either. It's one of the rules.
It's just so cool. It's a technical challenge. I mean, like you said, with the WEC and the endurance portion of it, you've got the 3 drivers. You've got to work together as a team.
Yep.
The pit stops. It's just it's so cool. Unlike anything in racing, because even in that formula, Scott, most of the other races are like 6 hours, like
6 and 8. 6 and 8 are is like the most common formats in endurance racing. So, I mean, this is the endurance of the endurance racing, right? Like, this is the real deal. It's racing through the night, as well. Like, there's not many other endurance races where they race in nighttime. It's only the 24-hour stuff, right? Because the 6 hours, the 8 hours, they always start it early enough that they're done by the time it's dark. So, yeah, this is it gets real hairy. I mean, we've seen some clips of folks driving in the nighttime when it's raining, and it can be really spicy. In terms of, like, if you've never watched Le Mans before and you want to get into it, I would say, so first of all, watch the start. The start is insane. Always the start is insane. And of course, now it starts following me. So the start is crazy. Watch the start. And then outside of that, I mean, really want to check in if there's ever safety cars. It's usually a really exciting time to watch as well. And then usually like the last hour is super exciting, intense. And like the last round of pit stops is also pretty crazy. So yeah, you can watch, bite size, and there's a lot of channels and stuff on YouTube that, like, as you're going through it, they'll be making highlights. So you can see, like highlights from the first 4 hours of Le Mans, like kind of look at that and stuff. But yeah, really exciting. It's going to be an awesome weekend of racing.
Love to see it. All right. Next thing we love to see is a little bit of a teaser announcement.
Oh, baby. The big yellow W coming soon.
Coming soon.
That's right. So we are taking our talents. It's funny though, because so we do plan to start streaming on Whatnot. Whatnot has finally convinced us. It's funny because I feel like I'm on now like the fourth director of Whatnot Sports, because Whatnot has all these different types of things that get sold on their platform, right? Jewelry is huge, fashion products, sneakers are massive, sports cards are really big. And so they have their own set, and like TCG, Pokemon, all that. So they have their own section now, Whatnot Sports. And that kind of was branched off a few years ago. And ever since they made that, there's been someone who runs the Whatnot Sports. There's someone who kind of runs like motorsports division. And I've been reached out to by pretty much everybody who's been in one of those roles to try to get me on, with varying kind of packages to bring me on the platform. But now seemed like a good time. I think we've got a really good thing going on Fanatics Live, and it's continuing to grow. We do stuff on Instagram as always, but I mean, listen, this isn't the same, I guess, kind of, sports card breaking culture and everything as we saw back in like 2021, right? I've been doing this for 4 years. In 2021, everybody that was breaking was either on, Instagram or like YouTube and stuff, right? Before Whatnot was a thing. And then Whatnot came around, really late 21, but like it really actually started to pick up steam in like 2022. And that's when it like first came in. It's been steadily growing. And like now, the majority of people who are buying into breaks are doing it on platforms, whether it's Whatnot, Fanatics Live, Loop. There's a ton of different ones, but it's less so people going on Instagram looking for breaks to join, because that's how everything kind of used to ran. And more so now people are going on their platform of choice, joining in, etc. So yeah, I mean, listen, at the end of the day, we feel that we bring best in class Formula One breaking, live experience, repack, singles, everything, right? We're trying to grow the F1 hobby as much as possible. So yeah, we're going to go join Whatnot, and we're going to kind of, educate everybody on the greater community of F1 card collecting, and the P1Castle community. So yeah, I know, like, obviously tons and tons of folks who buy in Fanatics Live and Instagram are also on Whatnot. But yeah, there's a lot of people who are just on Whatnot, so they'll be experiencing the P1Castle for the first time, which is pretty cool. So yeah, excited for that. We do have a date set for our first stream. We're still working out the specifics. I can tell you it will be something that has never ever been seen before on Whatnot, in terms of the amount and the type of products and the variants, like it's gonna be a legendary stream. So I'm really looking forward to it. We are giving away over $2,000 worth of cards,
Ooh.
memorabilia, merch, Legos, everything. So it's gonna be insane. And when we have more details, we're gonna be releasing another trailer. This was like you said, the teaser. Check it out. We posted it on Instagram. We've got a little teaser. But we'll be dropping something probably next week about more details about it and everything. But yeah, really excited and yeah, ready to enter the next kind of venture for the P1 Castle. But we're still gonna be on Fanatics. Some folks are like, "Oh, I'm just gonna delete the app. You're the only one I go on Fanatics Live for, anyways." It's like, whoa, we're still gonna
Yeah.
be on Fanatics Live a lot, 4 days a week, by the way, on Fanatics Live. So we're still gonna be on there a lot. We're also gonna be on Whatnot a lot. So it's gonna be interesting. More to come. More to come.
Very exciting. I think, especially like single streams and stuff, I think is a little bit easier on Whatnot than
Yeah, you can do
X.
pre-bids.
I think they do each. I think there's pros and cons to both. But I definitely am excited. Even when I saw this earlier today, like I had no idea. I'll
You've been
be
keeping it
completely.
under wraps,
It has
man,
been very
because
under wraps because everyone's like, "What's the news?" I'm like, "I
Mhm.
don't even know. This is great."
Yeah. Yeah, got it. Some things you gotta, keep close to the vest
Oh,
or,
absolutely.
you know.
All right. And things that we are definitely not going to keep close to the vest is we're going to share some grading results from P1Castle
Oh,
Grading.
baby. Get ready for the P1 Castle Grading birthday edition for Brian, Q3 cards. Let's see him. Let's see him, buddy. What do we got here?
So
I'm just gonna sit back and
I
watch.
will also say too, like when I first did this before we even kind of joined forces, like I was always very modest and I didn't really want to share results. And my stance was always, well, especially some of the cards that there's definitely only one of, or only a few of, and you could track serial numbers and stuff. I didn't want to be like the person, the share on the behalf of somebody without checking to make sure they were okay with it first. But I think most
Respect.
respect. I want to respect people's privacy. That's one of the things that we do is be very discreet if somebody would really like us to, because to be honest, sometimes people don't want people to know what's in their personal collection
It's
or
true.
what they're grading and stuff. But I think we're at the point now where a lot of these can be shared. I obviously won't share names unless it's somebody that we know and they've given me the okay to go
Chris.
ahead and do that. Yep. Which is exactly where we're going to start, because this was a major incident recently.
Oh, that's right.
Oscar Piastri refractor autograph from 2024 Topps Chrome, PSA 20, Gem Mint 10, Auto 10. Autograph looked phenomenal on this. No streakiness
Yeah.
at all. Well centered. Just excellent, excellent penmanship from Mr. Piastri, currently leading the championship.
This is such a
These,
clean card.
it's so clean, Scott. And to be honest, like these are tough with surface scratches.
So
Very,
many lines. So many.
but this one cleaned up really well. The back cleaned up really well as well. So congratulations to our friend
Yeah.
and P1Castle affiliate, just an incident. Chris, congrats on the PSA 20.
Yeah, that's a huge one. Oscar cleans up nice. But it is funny, I say it's so clean. Like it literally it like looks like a render. Right? Looking at it on the screen right now. It's like, "Oh yeah, look, the new product coming out." Like it just looks so crisp and clean. Great job.
Max Verstappen,
Mm.
2024 Sapphire base autograph. We have yet to get a whatever. These are definitely short printed.
Low pop.
I will say, I think I used the example, Scott, of a couple episodes ago on the number of Lewis Hamilton autographs I've
Mhm.
seen. And actually, I think I've now seen my fourth or fifth one that has come to
Yeah,
uh,
we've sent you
H quarters.
probably 3 or 4.
Yeah. So I'm still going with like maybe less than 10.
I don't know. See, I'm always a pessimist, I feel like, in terms of like numbers. And I think it's gotta be like 18. And the reason I say that is because it's a base, so it's not gonna get as much fanfare, if it's like posted out and about. I mean, listen, hey, maybe you're right. Maybe there is 8. And there certainly hasn't been a lot of these. We pulled this in our first ever case of 2024 Sapphire. I've never pulled another one since. And I've ripped over 100 cases. So maybe you're right.
So Max Verstappen with a great pose. First year they've done Sapphire autographs for Chrome, PSA 20. This was for our friend F1 Ben and
Percy case.
I didn't think this one was actually going to gem Scott. I did feel really good about the autograph. And as we've debated many times on this, Max has a very streaky autograph. So to see an autograph that actually gemmed, I was actually, Ben and I went back and forth quite a bit on, the decision of what to do. And that's, again, just peel behind the curtain a little bit of what we do at P1Castle Grading. Is it's not just what I want to do. It's my recommendation, and then it's conversation. And that's ultimately when there's an agreement. That's what we go ahead and do. So congratulations, just monster card, PSA 20 on this one. Whoo, Paddock Pass, Lone Star Signature Rainbow, out of 5, 4 out of 5, Lewis Hamilton, Mint 9, Auto 10. Again, Lewis does not get a lot of autographs that get graded just because of his streakiness.
Yeah.
A monster card for a paper card, which was Paddock Pass. These are very tough to grade.
Was this from the random after team Paddock Pass?
This one may not be. I think this one was a separate purchase that somebody had sent.
Yeah, you'll have to let me know.
But yeah,
because that's crazy. That's crazy.
I think it might be a separate one. But yeah, I mean, obviously, this is one of those times that we talk about where a 9 is really good, and you want to see a 10. Sometimes even I am like, okay, if it's less than a 10, then it's dead to me. This is definitely like a situation where a 9 is very good, especially with a 10
paper,
grade on the auto.
come on, that's insane.
And these cards were really nice to see in hand. With Paddock Pass, as we talked about on our, go back and watch the episode from a couple ago when we reviewed all the 2024 Topps products, not 2025. And just for more thoughts on Paddock Pass in that one.
That's right. Oh,
finest red auto of Lando Norris, 3 out of 5, PSA 10.
What an epic card!
What an epic card! Pulled in the castle, graded by the castle. And actually might be for consignment in the castle as well.
I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's. Yeah, I talked to him.
It's definitely coming back to you. I just don't know if you're shipping it or you're selling it. But with this one, I don't know if I can zoom in. I can look at that. So this is one, Scott, that I was really kind of, this portion here where I have my cursor here, it was a little light. I was like, I think it might sneak by with a 10, but I'm like, with an auto, you just, unless you're absolutely sure, just grade the card.
Especially if the card is going to gem, right? Like if you're looking at this card and you're like, hey, the card might be a 9, then maybe you take a shot. But yeah, if you're like, hey, this card looks like a gem, yeah, it gets real risky because a PSA 10 by itself is going to sell way better than a PSA 9 or a PSA 10 auto 9, So yeah, I 100% agree with you
auto
there.
9 is like an instant, just like dead on arrival. Lance Stroll. Super Fractor auto. I just had to throw this in because it got a gem. What an awful autograph. What an awful autograph here. So this one probably would have gemmed Scott, but I'm just like, this is such a poor attempt at an auto. Like, we're not even
Like,
gonna
I
grade the
think we
auto.
need to do an in-depth investigation. Like, is Lance Stroll actually signing his name, or is he trying to draw like birds in a background? You know what I'm saying? Like those little, like the birds you see like in the sky of a painting, and you look closely, and it's like, oh, it's just a squiggle. Well, like there's birds flying around on Lance Stroll's cards. This is ridiculous.
I do have to say though, Scott, the finest autos from 2024, especially the superfractors with kind of like the oil spill background in the back. This just
They look amazing.
it's amazing, and it looks amazing in hand. All the superfractors from finest are just absolutely incredible.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree with you there. Like the card itself is beautiful. You know, despite the birds for the autograph and, you know, Lance Stroll, who I am convinced makes sure he has bedhead for all of these photo shoots. You know, Lance Stroll aside, this
Yeah,
is an epic card.
we take PSA 10s on superfractors.
100%. This is a legendary card. Oh,
All right, final two. So sometimes really cool things happen with P1Castle Grading.
that's right.
And this first card was actually I can't remember if this was a pulled in a break or a consignment purchase, but definitely came from the castle one way or another. Sent in
Both.
for grading, and PSA 10 purple Oscar Piastri helmet collection from Sapphire PSA 10. That's not even the best part, because then later that day, another PSA 10, different cert, purple Oscar Piastri helmet collection, PSA 10. This one, and this is one of the times that we offer additional services. Some people will prefer that they'll send us the cards, we'll prep them, and they'll actually send us the order forms to PSA. So we send it as that person, you know, from headquarters, and once PSA grades it, it goes back to them. So a little bit more labor intensive to do it, but for certain clientele, we will go ahead and do this. And speaking of those clientele, Chris, just an incident, had sent us in, and
Once again,
another. I have to go back and look, Scott. We may have. I think we've gemmed every purple helmet we've sent for Oscar. I think we've done either 3 or 4.
This is our third.
I think it's our 3rd or 4th out of the 10.
That's wild.
And the other part that's wild,
track of the pop, like of our yours, but like P1Castle
I have all that data. I have
That's
all that
amazing.
data.
I love
I
it.
just need to spend the time to go through and do it. But yeah, just absolutely incredible. Like, and the thing is like, I feel like we've had a lot of gems, but I also feel like I've actually kicked out a lot of helmet collections, especially Sapphire. I know, Scott, you've probably
I
seen some
just
of
got
them.
back a couple, yeah.
They're some of the backs actually got really destroyed, which is really unfortunate, because this is one of the best inserts that Topps has done in recent years. You know, we love our helmets here at the Cardboard Podcast.
Right.
And some of them just like, there's nothing I can do to make a gem. And honestly, some of them, there's nothing to do to even get more than an 8. And that's really unfortunate, especially, Scott, for some of these oranges and golds in Sapphire,
Yeah.
that they're
And the
just
black and whites, which
black and whites have actually been some of the toughest.
yeah. Yeah, no, and it's good. I mean, listen, again, also, this is another reason why I made the decision. You know, I'm just gonna talk about how amazing you are. But like why I made the decision to bring Bryan on for P1Castle Grading is because listen, you know, I'll pull the cards and everything. I look at them like, oh yeah, you know, it looks pretty decent. You know, it's got a good shot, you know, but I'm not there with the magnifying glass, like all this stuff. So that's why you have that layer where I'm like, oh yeah, okay, let's send it P1Castle Grading. So then Bryan gets it and he's like, no, 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 like we're gonna kick this one out, right? Because that saves you guys time, money, all of that. Because at the end of the day, if you're going to grade something that's a 7 or an 8, like why do that? You know, sell it raw or keep it in your PC with a one touch, you know, whatever you want to do. But yeah, I mean, it just adds, you know, there's that hidden layer of service I feel like that you provide that not everyone sees. Like all the gems are amazing, and it's great to showcase them. But I think it's a really important and vital service to decline some of them, right?
I
Yeah.
mean, we had one box that showed up at headquarters like 2 weeks ago, had about 125 cards in it. We actually, no, it's a little bit more. We kicked out almost 116 cards.
This is my box.
No, it was not your
Because
box.
there was a lot of rejects from the box I sent you to.
But we did send quite a bit of those Piastri Sapphire cards for you. So those
Let's go.
um so that's just what we do. I mean, we love
There we
doing
go.
this stuff. It's our passion. We love doing it. And like you said, I'm not here to just crank out every single card that's in front of me and send it to PSA regardless. I'm not doing anybody a service by doing that. So, if it's got a really good shot, we're going to send it. Again, those conversations are sometimes something is just so rare or means a lot because it was a special pull or like a memory or a race that you watch or something like that. Sometimes we send them regardless. But again, if like you're like, all I want is PSA 10s. If it's not a PSA 10, we're not sending it. We're going to sell it raw.
That's right. Gets to the point where PSA sees something come in from Bryan. They're like, oh, it's a gem.
Rumors were a couple years ago that they actually did look at people's accounts and the gem. The rumor was that they would track like gem rates and stuff like that. I think that's hogwash, but
I used to have 100% gem rate. You know that? Back in 2014.
did you send
I
like 2
submitted
cards?
2 Pokemon cards, and they both got a PSA.
See, I was right. I for some reason
That's
I'm
right.
like, oh, he's gonna tell a story that he only had like 2 cards.
Yeah, I submitted 5,000.
I just looked at the timer, Scott, and this was like, oh, this will be a shorter episode, 42 minutes.
Yeah, but how can it be that short when it's your birthday? We're highlighting P1Castle Grading. I mean, come on, gotta give the people what they want. More
So,
cowbell.
again, just in closing, it's always a special privilege to see some of these monster cards too, and I always treat each one of these like they were my own. And they get I'd say the white glove service, but I usually wear black gloves when I'm handling cards. But yeah, I definitely put a lot of time and effort into it because I want to make sure that people are, maximizing their collection. That's one of the key things that we do.
An expert with your craft, Bryan.
It's weird to
We all
say that now,
appreciate
kind
that.
of like 3 or 4 years in, but I guess so. I still feel like a hack most of the time.
I guess I'm an artisan, master. We're a creator. I love it.
Too funny. All right, let's end this. We're gonna have another episode coming out in a couple days, again covering the Grand Prix this weekend in Canada, and a lot of other good stuff happening.
So this one's coming out Wednesday, recording Tuesday night. So the other one, recording Thursday night, will be out Friday. Basically just gonna talk, Canada pick 'em. Got new matchups, some spicy matchups, some slam dunks. We'll see how it goes. This is race 10, which is gonna mark the halfway point through the first 20 races where the cumulative score matters, right? So halfway point, we'll have to see kind of who's in the lead after Canada. And we'll be at the Canadian Grand Prix. So more to come on that. But if you're going to be there, we will be there. We're going to be giving away packs. Of course, we're giving away kind of those logo fractor base packs and stuff to just folks in attendance in general, just to kind of get more people into the hobby. I mean, listen, there is nobody else who is going to race after race after race, just trying to bring more people into the hobby. This is Tops doesn't pay for this. This is out of our pocket. We're spending our time, our resources, our capital to grow the Formula One card hobby. And we think we do it better than anybody else. And that's why we keep doing it. That's why we spend our money, our time, our resources to keep growing the F1 card hobby to the benefit of everybody who's already in it, really. So looking forward to that. We're also going to have, and this is for, some of the kind of existing community members and stuff, on race day, if you're there, we're going to give away some some actual stuff, right? So we're going to have some finest packs. We're going to do things like, oh, find me. I'm going to take a picture of like where I am and like film stuff around, and you got to come find me, and you'll get a free finest pack, and who knows, maybe something else. So yeah, excited to meet up with the folks that are in Canada, and excited to get into talking a little bit previewing the race with you, Bryan.
Sounds good. Instead of where's Waldo, it's where's Scott.
You know, it's funny because Ben was like, yeah, I was thinking of making like a little where's Waldo, like where's all right.
I mean, great minds think alike, Ben.
That's true. Sebastian would love that because his I Spy books are his favorite thing right now. So yeah, love to see it.
Those are so cool growing up.
I know, right? Before we get too far off track, I'm gonna get us out of here. We'll be back in 2 more days. Guys, in the meantime, collect your cardboard, keep it carbon.